The skies can be an enigmatic place. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most interesting mysteries in aviation. These are the baffling airplane stories that shocked the world due to the puzzling circumstances surrounding the events or the uncertain fates of the individuals or aircraft involved. Just to be clear, we're including the most interesting and shocking mysteries, even if they've been solved in the years since the events. Number 10. Flying Tiger Line Flight 739. Taking off in California and ultimately headed for Saigon, Vietnam, this United States military flight was destined to relieve troops of their duty, with 96 military members and 11 civilians on board. But 280 miles from the flight stopover in Guam, communications experienced heavy radio static, and after that, the plane was lost. 8 days and 200,000 square miles of ocean later, the investigation turned up nothing. But rumors ran rampant that the flight was the victim of sabotage. All 107 on board are presumed dead. Number 9. Egypt Air Flight 990.
We located a significant debris field, and that we have concentrated our search efforts since then on about a 36 square mile of area, about 50 miles south of Nantucket.
Although the wreckage of this Cairo-bound flight was swiftly found after it crashed in the Atlantic Ocean, it's the cause of this spectacular incident that raises eyebrows.
We do not know what caused this tragedy.
Since the plane went down in international waters, Egyptian authorities were responsible for investigating the 217 fatalities.
It's a big tragedy for us, and I give my condolences to all the passengers, to the families of the crews who have been lost in this tragedy.
They found that a mechanical failure was at fault. However, a U.S. inquiry into the same event suggested that the flight's Egyptian co-pilot crashed on purpose. This finding caused a falling out between the U.S. and Egypt, which clouded the investigation even further. Number 8. Air France Flight 447. On its way to Paris from Rio de Janeiro, this flight disappeared over the Atlantic Ocean.
This is a catastrophe, undoubtedly, and we have lost an aircraft with 228 people on board.
Although wreckage was found as early as 5 days later, it took almost 2 years to recover the plane's black boxes and the majority of the 228 bodies of those on board from the ocean floor. Examination revealed that ice crystals led to the disconnection of the autopilot feature, which in turn caused the pilots to accidentally stall the plane. However, that theory has been challenged. Number 7. Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571. While traveling through the Andes, this Uruguay to Chile flight was brought down when low clouds and disorientation caused its wings to be clipped by the mountains. With the 45 passengers presumed dead, the search was called off after just over a week. For more than 2 months, the plane's location remained a mystery, lost in snow and towering mountains. Ultimately, 2 passengers journeyed on foot 10 days to find civilization, and the 16 survivors were finally rescued 72 days after the crash. This thrilling story was later retold in the 1993 film Alive. Number 6. TWA Flight 800. This Europe-bound Boeing 747 was in the air only minutes before exploding, plunging into the Atlantic and killing the 230 people on board.
We will get to the bottom of this, whatever the bottom is.
For 4 years, conspiracies swirled on the burgeoning internet that suggested foul play. Some believed a U.S. missile test was responsible, while others said it was a meteor, and still others suggested a bomb. And eyewitnesses that claimed to have seen something fired at the plane did nothing to dissuade rumors. Investigations finally concluded that an electrical short circuit caused one of the aircraft's fuel tanks to explode. Number 5. Lady Be Good disappearance. After the 9-man crew of an American bomber plane went missing on its way back to Libya during World War II, their plane and lives were thought to be lost to the Mediterranean. However, the plane actually crash-landed in North Africa, and 8 of the men survived the crash by parachuting out. Unfortunately, the remainder of the crew died after walking 100 miles through the desert. The plane's wreckage was finally discovered surprisingly intact 15 years later by a British oil exploration team. Number 4. the 1947 BSAA Avro-Lancastrian Stardust Accident. It was 50 years after the British South American Airways airliner Stardust and its 11 occupants vanished in the Andes on their way to Chile before their fates were revealed. Some blamed vandals, others aliens, but an extensive 5-day search turned up nothing. Finally, in 1998, mountaineers discovered the wreckage after it had been buried in a glacier for decades. According to reports, the pilots were disoriented by the jet stream and accidentally crashed into the mountains. Number 3. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
They believe now they have several pings, if you will, of engine data that was transmitted and picked up by satellites and now is being analyzed.
This Boeing 777 went missing about an hour into its flight from Malaysia to Beijing, with 239 occupants on board. With no distress calls made, 2 passengers on the flight traveling with stolen passports, and reports that onboard communications were deliberately disabled by someone on the aircraft, conspiracy theories surfaced suggesting mechanical breakdown, terrorism, or pilot suicide.
Is it possible this plane could have landed someplace and we have no idea it's there?
It's possible, but boy, that would be a stretch.
The disappearance prompted a massive search and rescue effort undertaken by over 20 countries through nearby bodies of water and islands, but its first weeks were fruitless.
Australia's Department of Defense has released these satellite images of debris, 2 objects which may be related to the missing flight. One of the pieces of debris is thought to be as large as 78 feet long, the other approximately 16 feet long.
Number 2. The Amelia Earhart disappearance. The events that led to Earhart's mysterious demise began in 1937 when she set out to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. On her approach to Howland Island in the Pacific, Earhart radioed that she was low on fuel and unsure of her location. Shortly after, radio contact was lost, and so were Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan. Did she live out her days on a deserted island? Was she a spy? Was she forced to broadcast propaganda as Tokyo rose? We may never know. Before our top pick takes flight, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1. Flight 19. 5 torpedo bombers were sent on a routine training exercise through the area between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda, an area infamously known as the Bermuda Triangle. During their flight, radio transmissions made it clear the plane's compasses were malfunctioning, and eventually all 5 planes and 14 crew members vanished without a trace, never to be seen again. What's even stranger is the rescue plane sent to locate Flight 19 also went missing in the Bermuda Triangle, as did 1948's famous Star Tiger flight and many others. Do you agree with our list? Which aviation mystery did you find the most intriguing? For more fascinating top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.